Coming up on Mountain News at 6. A Clay County man remains in jail after being accused of pointing a gun at a student. And officials with one Eastern Kentucky fiscal court are pushing for additional funding to help with their water and sewer systems.
And we're seeing temperatures right now in the mid to upper 80s. Now the question is when is this cold front finally going to push through? Details in a few minutes.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 6.
A southeastern Kentucky man is accused of holding a high school student at gunpoint and threatening him. It happened Wednesday morning at Clay County High School. Christopher Collier is accused of getting the student to get into his truck, then holding him at gunpoint. WYMT's Phil Pendleton has the story from Manchester.
31-year-old Christopher Collier has been held here at the Clay County Jail since his arrest yesterday. According to a police citation, he unlawfully went to Clay County High School, was able to get a student to get into his truck with him, where he was held at gunpoint and threatened. Clay County school leaders say a voluntary staff member under false pretenses gained access to the parking lot with an alleged weapon. The sign states that access to the high school is not allowed from 8:30 to 2:30, but police say Collier pointed the gun at the student's head after the student got into his truck around 11 o'clock Wednesday morning. Collier is accused of telling the student that he was going to kill him and that he was making a video of it. A deputy sheriff arrested Collier Thursday and charged him with criminal trespassing, wanton endangerment, terroristic threatening, and unlawful possession of a weapon on school property. Collier remains in jail on a $50,000 cash-only bond. His attorney has filed a motion to lower that to 10% of that so that he could be able to get out of jail, return to work, and to be with his family. In Clay County, Phil Pendleton, now back to you.
We also asked if Collier would like to talk to us from jail, but he declined. A former Eastern Kentucky prosecutor has been sentenced to prison. Former Perry County Commonwealth Attorney Scott Blair was sentenced to 4.5 years for committing honest service wire fraud. Blair pleaded guilty earlier this year. In the plea agreement, it says between April 2020 and March of this year, he intentionally devised a scheme to deprive those in Perry County of his honest service through bribery. A Morgan County man is behind bars after he reportedly uploaded sexually explicit images of children online. Troopers with KSP's Electronic Crimes Branch arrested John Simone on charges related to a child sexual abuse material investigation yesterday. He is currently charged with 20 counts of possession of matter portraying a minor under the age of 12 in a sexual performance. He was taken to the Rowan County Detention Center. Police in Campbell County, Tennessee have arrested a suspect in regards to a shooting. Sheriff deputies were called to Chapman Crest Road in La Follette yesterday. Police say they made contact with a victim who stated a man had reportedly shot him. In their investigation, police determined there had been a verbal altercation with neighbors when Jesse Phillip Comer shot the victim with a pellet gun. Police found Comer and took him to the Campbell County Jail this morning. A man gets lured to a Wayne County home where police say he was held against his will and accused of stealing. James Lyons and Riddle Joe have been arrested on multiple felony charges, including robbery, assault, and unlawful imprisonment. Police say the crime happened last month, and the two gave the victim bandages following the assault and let him go. It took about 2 weeks to find Joe. Both men are in the Wayne County Detention Center. 12 people have been arrested in a drug bust in Harlan County. It happened yesterday when police conducted a roundup, taking the suspects into custody on warrants stemming from drug trafficking investigations. April York, Olivia Evans, Jessica Dixon, Teddy Reese, Maurice Long, Randy Hammonds, Megan Goodwin, Juanita Couch, Wendy Varner, Jordan Marshall, Jimmy Holland, and Kirsten Hankey were all charged with trafficking in a controlled substance. One person has been arrested, accused of stealing equipment and copper from 2 Logan County, West Virginia businesses. West Virginia State Police say about $157,000 in equipment was taken from Arch Resources, including a welder, a trailer, and an excavator. They also say around $100,000 of copper was stolen from services. Investigators combined through evidence, including video, which led them to the arrest of Jeremy Weekly. In a separate case in Logan County, 2 people accused of stealing from a mine supply store have been arrested. At the end of August, state police say Michael Brock and Stephanie Prince broke into the business and stole copper and transformers valued around $35,000. Both were arrested.
Well, we had temperatures today in the mid to upper 80s, and now we're starting to cool off a little bit. The cloud cover is starting to pick up as well, as that's the precursor to the rain chances picking up throughout the evening and overnight hours. Right now, we're at 84 in Hazard, 83 is the current temperature in Jackson, 84 in Manchester, Somerset, Monticello, 86 degrees. Look at Ashland, oh so close to 90. 89 is the current temperature. Live pinpoint Doppler radar right now showing a little bit of a stray shower or two just to the north and west of eastern Kentucky. The big story, though, is that line east of Cincinnati through Louisville. This is our weather maker as we go throughout the evening and overnight hours. Next 12 hours has temperatures staying in the low to mid 70s by 11 o'clock, mid 60s by 5 a.m., 61 by the 7 o'clock hour. And when you wake up in the morning, look at those temperatures, mid to upper 50s. I'll have your complete first alert forecast coming up in a few minutes. Amelia.
Eric, thank you. Schools throughout Kentucky are required to have a school resource officer. Since House Bill 63 was signed, the number of officers has increased. However, several schools are still operating without them. WYMT's RJ Johnson shares what one SRO wants to see change.
For Tim Engel, he never thought about becoming a school resource officer.
I had been retired about 8 years, and the superintendent at that time called me. There was a lot of stuff going on with schools and asked me if I would be interested in it. My wife and I talked about it, and we ended up praying about it and decided that I needed to do it for some reason, and I've been here ever since.
Engel now walks the halls at Hazard Middle School, where he not only keeps kids safe, but is there for the good and the bad.
I try to do that, as do my other police officer buddies that do this. It could be life-changing for a child. So you're a lot more than just a cop.
But is it the same for schools throughout the Commonwealth? According to the annual School Safety Risk Assessment Report, during the 2023-24 school year, 467 schools throughout the state reported not having an assigned SRO. That is more than 35% of all schools.
Hazard's very blessed. The police officer ratio here is pretty minimal, but the city police allow us to take care of these schools, as does the sheriff's office here in Perry County.
Engel says with other school districts not being as fortunate, he says a lot needs to be done to address the issue.
The funding, the training that all goes along with this, that's a hard task and a lot of police officers, a lot of young police officers coming out of the academy, they want to work the road. They don't want to be stuck in a school.
He says he wants to see more retired officers back in the schools to be there for those students.
I think you need an older law enforcement agency officer at the school because probably 98% of my stuff that I deal with here at school is more about a dad, a grandfather. It's not really law enforcement related.
In Hazard, RJ Johnson, WYMT Mountain News.
Engel says retired officers already have proper training needed to fulfill the needs. However, he says they are always looking for ways to improve their trainings throughout the year. One Pike County community is mourning the loss of a volunteer firefighter. Daryl Helton died on Wednesday. He had been with the Belfry Volunteer Fire Department since his teen years, serving the department for approximately a decade and a half. The Belfry Fire Chief says Helton had taken some time off, but came back in the later part of 2022. Funeral arrangements have not been made at this time for Helton. He was 49 years old. The Center for Rural Development in Somerset is hosting a concert and special tribute for a woman who died last month following her 4-year battle with cancer. Raina Simpson was diagnosed with colon cancer back in 2020. The benefit concert and tribute to Simpson will be tomorrow evening at 7. Leland, a contemporary Christian band, will perform at the concert. Raina Simpson was 37 years old.
All right, weather headlines for tonight. First of all, rain chances will increase as we go throughout the evening and overnight hours. Simply put, a beautiful fall-like weekend, and mid-80s will creep back into the forecast. Details in a few minutes.
And last weekend's UK football game was hit by lightning delays and traffic troubles. How fans were affected and what is expected for tomorrow's home game.